Have you ever felt like your own mind is a cage? You know, a place you've carefully decorated with plans and memories and worries, and somewhere along the way, you started mistaking it for home. Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at a totally different way to handle overthinking. The idea isn't to fight it, but to fundamentally shift our perspective, drawing on some really powerful teachings inspired by Osho.
This quote just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's telling us that the feeling of being stuck, of being trapped, it doesn't actually come from our jobs or our relationships or our bank accounts. It comes from the mind that's constantly spinning stories about them. The struggle, and maybe more importantly, the key to freedom, is all happening inside.
So let's really dive into this idea of the mind as a gilded cage. It looks pretty, right? It feels safe and familiar, but it's where we've learned to mistake the endless chatter of thinking for the actual experience of living. I love this phrase, collective hypnosis. It's so true. Our whole society rewards constant thinking, planning, analyzing, worrying. We're taught from day one that a busy mind is a productive mind. And because of that, we've kind of forgotten how to simply be. We see silence or emptiness as this enemy we need to fill, when in reality, it's where we came from. It's our natural state.
Okay, so what do most of us do when we realize our minds are too noisy? We try to fight. We try to force them into silence. But this approach, it's not just a little ineffective. It actually makes things so much worse. Let's look at why that is.
So here's the trap. The very act of trying to stop a thought, well, that's another thought. When you say to yourself, I've got to stop thinking so much, you've just added a whole new layer of mental noise. The mind is so tricky, it will even use your desire for peace as more fuel to keep itself running. It's like trying to put out a fire with a can of gasoline. It just doesn't work.
This is such a perfect way to picture what's going on. Our thoughts have momentum, built up over years and years of constant use. You can't just flip a switch and expect instant silence. Trying to force your thoughts to stop is like reaching out and grabbing those spinning blades. It's violent, it's jarring, and it's totally useless. The real key is to just stop giving the fan more power and patiently let the momentum fade all on its own.
And why does the mind fight us so hard on this? Well, because its whole existence, its very identity, depends on having problems to solve. It needs that friction, that conflict, to survive. You know, this is why true peace can feel so uncomfortable at first. For the mind, emptiness, a state with no problems to chew on, feels like death. So it'll actually invent new worries just to keep itself busy.
So, if fighting is futile, what's the alternative? This is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. The solution isn't a battle. It's a fundamental shift in your point of view, from being the thinker, completely lost in the thoughts, to becoming the witness.
Awareness. This is the game changer, and it's not another mental trick or some new technique you have to learn. It's the vast, silent background that's actually been there the whole time, just hidden behind all the noise. It's the part of you that can simply watch your thoughts without getting tangled up in them.
Now, to really get this, let's use a beautiful metaphor. Just picture your thoughts as clouds. They're constantly moving, right? They're always changing shape, they appear from nowhere, and then they just disappear. Some are dark and stormy, some are light and wispy.
And here it is. This is the big shift. You are not those temporary, passing clouds. You are the sky, the vast, unchanging, limitless sky in which they appear. Think about it. The sky isn't bothered by the weather. A hurricane doesn't damage the sky. It simply provides the space for all of it to happen. In the exact same way, your true self, your awareness, is the space in which all your thoughts happen.
Here's another way to look at it. Awareness is like a perfect mirror. It can reflect a raging storm or a beautiful flower with the exact same clarity. But as soon as the object is gone, the mirror is completely empty again. It doesn't cling to any reflection. So when you rest in a state of awareness, all these emotions and thoughts can pass right through you without leaving scars. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually apply it? I mean, for real. The real magic happens not when we're sitting cross-legged in a quiet room, but when we learn to bring this awareness right into the chaos of our everyday lives.
And it starts with the most simple, mundane things. Instead of being lost in your head while you do something, bring your full attention to the physical sensation. When you wash your hands, just feel the temperature of the water on your skin. When you eat, actually taste your food. When you're listening to someone, just listen. Don't spend that time formulating your response. Every one of these small acts, when you do it with presence, weakens the mind's grip. This little story just captures the whole thing perfectly. You know, the student who asked the question probably thought, well, duh, everyone does that.
But the master explained the difference. Most of us are completely absent. Our body is eating, but our mind is 1,000 miles away in the past or the future. To be fully present in the act itself, that is meditation. That's awareness in action.
So, what's the result of this practice? What actually happens when awareness is no longer something you have to remember to do, but it just becomes who you are? Well, this is what's meant by the flowering of stillness.
The changes that happen are, well, they're profound. That constant restlessness you feel, it doesn't just go away, it transforms into a feeling of pure aliveness. The frantic energy of anxiety gets channeled into creativity. The noise inside your head starts to sound more like music. And your mind, it stops being this tyrannical master and becomes an incredibly useful servant. Life just feels less like a struggle and more like an effortless dance.
And this is so crucial to understand. This peace, this stillness we're talking about, it's not a dead, empty state. It's not about becoming some detached robot. It is a vibrant, living quality. It's a peace that is so deep, it can exist right in the middle of a bustling city, during a tough conversation, or even alongside a difficult emotion.
So I'll leave you with this question to really let it sink in. The thoughts, they're probably not going to stop. The world won't stop. The noise will continue. But your entire relationship to it can change. The question is no longer, how do I stop all this noise? The real question becomes, am I the noise, or am I the silent, unchanging space in which all the noise happens?